this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare two wireless headsets, the ROG Delta S wireless from Asus and the Corsair HS80. Now these are two interesting headsets for different reasons, and I want to talk to you about why I like them both for different reasons, why they're interesting, the features, specs and more, as well as obviously the sound and a microphone test later on. And the mics are interesting in their own right, because as you'll see, the Corsair HS80 has a flip microphone, so flip to mute boom mic, whereas the ROG Delta S wireless has two built-in AI noise cancelling microphones. So they offer a different setup in terms of what you get from the microphones, but also from the sound and the overall design. You'll notice there's a head strap, for example, on the HS80, different from the padded headband of the ROG Delta S wireless. There's a lot of interesting things immediately. You can see striking differences between the two. Now, please bear in mind with these side-by-side shots that the HS80 has been in use for a fair amount of time by my wife, and my daughter has stuck some stickers on it, so that's not what it looks like out of the box. But what I wanted to show is fair use over time, that it's still standing up nicely and looks the part and still runs really well as well, delivering fantastic sound. More on that a bit later on. Also with a side-by-side comparison and from these shots, so you can see the sort of difference in the design of them. You'll notice the HS80, for example, has ever so slightly smaller ear cups, and I will say, as you'll see when I start stretching things out a bit, that I think that the ROG Delta S wireless is probably the better choice for those with larger heads. If you have a particularly large head with a massive brain inside of it, then the HS80 probably isn't the best bet for you, because it might be a bit small, and the ROG Delta S wireless might be the better choice. It also has larger ear cups. You can see both have a sort of D-shaped ear designs, so they fit nicer over the ear in a more natural way, blocking out noise or just generally leading to some excellent comfort. Now the ROG Delta S wireless has these removable ear cups, and you'll see that it has these protein leather ear cups or fabric ones, so you have a choice of which you want to use in the box. The protein leather is designed to block out external noise, and the fabric ones to keep your ears a bit cooler. The Corsair HS80 by comparison comes with these sort of soft plush kind of velvet-esque finish ear cups, and they do pick up, as you can see, a little bit of dust and dirt and other problems over time, so they do get a little bit dirty, but I do think that they are definitely the softer out of the two if you're comparing them. The ROG Delta S wireless faux leather ear cups are much better at blocking out external noise, and they are larger, as you'll see, but they're nowhere near as comfortable. And neither are the fabric ones. So on the fabric ones on the ROG Delta S, you'll notice that the internal bit of it, so inside where your ear is, does have a little bit of the faux leather as well. And the design here is designed to basically give you some noise cancellation, so you get some passive noise cancellation no matter which ear cushions you're using. However, I'm of the opinion that the HS80 is still superior in terms of comfort and fit, and also just generally the softness of those ear cushions. Though if you're looking to block out more external noise, then the ROG Delta S wireless is the one to go for. Now, in terms of the overall design, you'll notice that the HS80 is quite a different headband design. It uses this sort of strap that sits on top of your head rather than the traditional padded headband. It also doesn't have an extendable headband in the usual way either, which the ROG Delta S does, so you can see that you can extend the headband significantly more on the ROG Delta S wireless. And also, if you start stretching things out, it stretches out a lot further, and it just seems a bit more flexible in terms of the overall stretch and sort of fit. So I think larger heads, bigger ears, and a need for a more stretchy headset, and then the ROG Delta S wireless is the more logical choice for you. So just keep that in mind if you need a bit more flexibility. Also, both these headsets have a decent clamping force. Neither is particularly tight on the head, I don't think. They both fit nicely, but also don't fly off. So they're built in a really well-balanced way and deliver a good comfort from that point of view. But you can see just the difference in sort of stretchability of the HS80. If you have a smaller head, this will still be a nice fit. Now, I personally think I've got a large head, not huge, but reasonably large, and I found these to be very comfortable. I think the HS80 is the best on offer from Corsair at the moment. Now, if you look at the side of the ear cups, you'll see a difference again. The HS80 has volume control and power button. It also has USB-C charging, whereas the ROG Delta S has a bit more on offer here. So you not only have the volume wheel and mic mute button, but you also have a switch to go between 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth modes, and there's a multi-function control button as well. So a little bit more about that. The ROG Delta S wireless comes with a USB-C 2.4 GHz dongle that you can see in the top right here, and it also has an adapter that turns that into USB-A, and you have a USB-C charging cable. This headset claims 25 hours of battery life and fast charging, so you can plug it in for 15 minutes and get 3 hours of extra gaming out of it, which is obviously a bonus. And the 2.4 GHz dongle will store in the ear cup when you're not using it, so that's an extra highlight there. Now it's worth bearing in mind that Corsair claims about 20 hours out of the HS80, so they're roughly comparable, and I certainly haven't found I had to plug it in loads, although it is worth noting as well that you get better sound when plugged in, but more on that later on. Now, one of the things I didn't like about the ROG Delta S wireless is the USB-C adapter. When that plugs into your PC, it causes some issues, but you'll see it has a USB-A adapter on it as well, so you can plug that into there, and then you can swap it from USB-C to USB-A depending on the ports on your PC. So if you don't have USB-C, not to worry. Now, I do have USB-C port on my PC, but if I plug in this weirdly angled USB-C dongle, it blocks my reset button on my PC, which is obviously not convenient, so I can't reboot my PC unless I need to without unplugging the thing. Minor gripe, but something that was slightly annoying. Now you can turn it the other way, but all that does is block the USB-A port. So really this is not an ideal setup for me, but obviously this is a very niche problem that you might not have, and if you use the USB-A dongle it becomes a non-issue. However, I thought it was worth talking about. And as I said, this headset supports both Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz, so you can flip it over into Bluetooth mode and then you can connect it up to your phone and you can listen to music and make calls as well, because it has those dual AI noise cancelling microphones. You can use this headset to make calls and to listen to music and do other things. So that means that essentially you can pop it on, connect it to your phone, and go out of the house and use it like normal headphones. And that's one of the nice things about both these headsets, is they're very understated in their design. Obviously the ROG Delta S wireless is a bit more flexible because you can use it as headphones when you're away from your computer. The Corsair HS80 by comparison doesn't have any Bluetooth, so it's worth bearing that in mind straight away. There's no other connection options other than the 2.4 GHz or being plugged in with a USB-C cable. So the ROG Delta S wireless is a lot more flexible. Also, you have volume control on the headset, which allows you to not only control the volume, but you also can use the media buttons. There's a button in between the volume wheel and the 2.4 GHz or power button that you can use to play or pause or skip music. So a single press will pause, another press will play again. You can double press it to skip, and you can triple press it to rewind. So you can go through various different things in here. Lots of different options, which I thought was interesting. However, one thing of note is that you can't use the USB-C dongle with your phone to use 2.4 GHz via your phone. So that's a shame, I think, and maybe an oversight, but a very small point in what is otherwise a flexible headset. Now, another thing is that also you cannot use 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth at the same time, so you can't have dual connectivity, which is also a shame. Now, the Corsair HS80 also has a USB dongle, but it's USB-A instead of USB-C, and it's quite a bit longer. It also has USB-C cable for charging purposes, and the difference here is you'll notice there's a flip to mute microphone instead of the beamforming mics on the ROG Delta S wireless. Stick around to the end of this video to hear a mic test. Now, the thing that's interesting about the Corsair HS80 is it has a better audio range. So as standard, it goes up to 40,000 Hz frequency response with 50mm drivers, whereas the ROG Delta S only goes up to 20,000 Hz. Also, it's worth bearing in mind that you get virtual surround sound on both, but you get a Dolby Atmos license included in the box with the Corsair HS80, so on PC you can get superior sound. Also, if you plug it in using USB-C cable instead of using the wireless connectivity, you can get 96 kHz 24-bit high-res audio, so it's a high-res sample rate on PC, which means you get high-res sound on PC, and that is far superior to the ROG Delta S. I also want to say that I think personally that HS80 delivers better sound quality on gaming on PC because of that audio range, but also just out of the box I found the sound to be much richer and less faffy than the ROG Delta S wireless. And what I mean by that is I found I had to do a lot more customization and tweaks to the ROG Delta S wireless in order to get it sounding good, so that was a real frustration for me. It is a lot louder though. It is a very loud headset, so if you want something that's really loud, that's the one to go for. But if you're gaming on PC, I think the HS80 does a better job of delivering a high quality sound. The head strap that you can see on top is fairly unusual. You usually see this sort of design on SteelSeries headsets. Basically, it's a strap instead of the cushioning on the outer headband. It is adjustable, as you can see, so you can adjust this. And I did find that it was really comfortable from this design. I actually found that I could wear it for hours and hours. And comfort is a point of interest from both of them, which is one of the reasons I'm comparing these two headsets, because I think the HS80 is really comfortable, but the ROG Delta S is also fantastic. It weighs in at 318 grams and sits really well on the head and really lightly, and also because of the really nice padding, it just is really comfortable all day long. The HS80 head strap is actually not too bad, and as already said, the ear cushions are fantastic. You also see that you have the volume control and the power button within easy reach, and also that flip to mute microphone. There's an audible cue when you flip it up and out of the way, so you'll know, and also you can see the little red flashing light to let you know when it's muted as well, so you have some really easy controls in there. However, you do need Corsair's iCue software in order to make the most of it, because you don't get side tone as standard, and also you don't get Dolby Atmos and the other things without iCue. You need to plug it in to make the most of it as well, whereas the ROG Delta S wireless works really well with the dongle plugged in and connected up with Armoury Crate. Now onto the mic test. And here I am with the Corsair HS80 in wired mode on the head. You can see what it looks like there. And this is the capture quality of the microphone in that mode as well, which is really, really good. You'll note that the indicator on the end is white when it's in use, and if you flip it up, it goes red. And you'll also get an audible cue in the headset to let you know that it's muted and that the feedback is off. So there is some side tone through the microphone, and you can adjust the levels within Corsair's iCue software as well. I don't find it to be terribly loud, the side tone, unless you move the microphone really close to your mouth, which you can't really do because it just springs back out. It's quite springy. So it's not easy to adjust in. However, at this range, it doesn't pick up pops and very easily, so that's obviously fantastic. I'll show you what the capture quality of the microphone's like while I'm typing. So I'm just typing in the background now, and you can see it does a good job of blocking out external noise from what I've seen and heard, and more importantly, it does capture really good quality, really good microphone, a good price point, and all round fantastic. Here I am with the headset on, and what you'll see is I have Armoury Crate open over here just so you can see. Now, obviously not showing the entirety of it, so I want to go into a bit more depth on that in a minute, but what I wanted to demonstrate is the settings where you have the noise gate, perfect voice, AI noise cancellation, etc. They're all turned off at the moment. This is running in 2.4 gigahertz, so the previous sample that I showed was over Bluetooth. Now, this is without the settings on. Now what I've noticed is that the compression is quite bad and my voice is pretty muddied across it in a variety of ways. Obviously over Bluetooth, without any of the noise cancellation, you could hear a lot of the wind noise and other things. And it was a bit not that great in terms of the quality of the microphone capture. And you'll see a similar experience now probably, but if I just go through these settings, so if I turn on noise gate, you can see that you can set various different levels of it. The more aggressive the noise gate, the more my voice will become compressed. You can then turn on perfect voice, which will adjust between the various levels here. I'm just going to do this on the fly to give you an example of what it's like, but AI noise cancellation is the biggest one. You're meant to block out a lot of surrounding noise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to type in the background a little bit, and also I'm going to turn on a fan that's right next to me, just for demonstration purposes. Is a giant fan blowing in the background, so we'll see if you can pick up any of that. And then I'm going to go through the various levels, and now I'm going to set it to high. And what I should do is block out some of that noise from the fan, which is right in my face. Hopefully that'll eliminate some of that sound and also some of the typing in the background. But what you will notice is quite a lot of change in my voice. The sound is nowhere near as nice. It's certainly not as rich as a dedicated microphone. Oh, that refreshing coolness from the fan is pleasant though. And so I think it's actually better with some of these settings turned off. Obviously, this is going to vary depending on your environment, and it's certainly not as good as having a boom microphone. However, the fact that you've got mics there that are just hidden away is great. And if you have a dedicated microphone that you can just drag in and use that instead, then that's preferable. And you can obviously go out of the house and use these as headphones, which is a bonus. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.